Hello there. Welcome to the new player guide for Retail World of Warcraft, episode 5. Today we are going to shoot for level 70 if we can, but we'll at least get to level 60 in this video. So we'll be working on finishing up the Dragonflight main story campaign, which is part of the new player onboarding experience. We'll be running Timewalking dungeons because they're efficient at leveling XP, and we'll be seeing what's next for us on our story level adventure for the new player. Depending on what's available, we might pivot into some other expansions or some different leveling techniques. Unless it continues the story nice and smoothly, that would be a nice experience for a new player just to get caught up on what happened in Dragonflight. So we'll see, and I'll kind of explain as we go along in that regard. If you've been watching the series, please do feel free to like and subscribe. We're going to continue along here. Our goal of the series is to oh cool, our goal of the series is to take this character up to two of the main in-game achievements for World of Warcraft. One of those is the Ahead of the Curve achievement, which is killing the final boss in the raid on heroic difficulty before the start of season 3. The second one is getting 3k Mythic Plus rating, so 3,000 Mythic Plus rating. We'll talk about that when we get closer to endgame. The whole concept of like Mythic Plus dungeons and what's going on there. But to begin with, just like last time, probably gonna just really focus on leveling up and a little bit less on explanations. I will explain some things here as they come across if there are new systems implemented. But right now we're queued up for our Timewalking dungeon. We're gonna talk to Alexstrasza. She's got some campaign quests for us.
We secured the Azure archives. The Razaget storm remains enveloped around Vakthros Tower.
She seeks to free her kin, but their prison does not lie within the Azure span. What else could she be after?
My vision remains clouded. The Primalists could already be moving in our midst, and I fear I would not see it.
The city must be protected. Veldraken is our people's home.
If the Primalists are here, we must find them and flush them out. They cannot be allowed to infiltrate our seat of power.
Okie dokie.
Embrace hope. Allow me to introduce you to Captain Drine. She oversees security here in Veldraken.
The Scalesworn of Veldraken stand ready to root out any Primalist that dare infest.
This is kind of
our
interesting
city.
from a new player experience, because I talked about the campaign quests and how they have these unique icons. One thing I noticed with Alexstrasza is there's a quest to Tierhold, and this actually in the campaign, it is part of the campaign, but it occurred for regular players a little bit later after you sort of finish the leveling experience. So I am going to just hold off on doing that and just sort of start with the local introductory quests. So they want us to root out Primalist evil in the capital. So we're gonna go in here.
The Primalists come to bank vaults to discuss their plans.
We're gonna pretend to bank.
Still overhear something useful. Act like you are inspecting one of the holding chests.
What do you mean? Commander Aranog said it would be here.
I have not seen him.
Commander
Come to
Eggnog.
think of it, I have not seen
It's funny, I don't think I've ever gone into a bank and just started rooting through gold, but that's what we're gonna do here. I guess
Everyone
dragons be
comes to the
different, that's for
roasted
sure.
ram eventually. Grab a drink to blend in. but keep your wits about you.
Greetings, brother. Any news?
A delay, unfortunately. They are still looking for it at Southhold Gate.
Still? Should they not have found it by now?
I am sure everything will be handled by the time our benefactor is already. He will make
Quest
sure
brought
of
us
it.
to the inn. I don't remember if I did this last time, but I'm just gonna make my hearthstone. Set my hearthstone here. I think I might have, but that last part of this quest. Let's go to the crafting
Many
area.
people come here for commerce. Find a
We'll
place
start
to blend
talking
in
about
with the
crafting
merchants and keep
soon.
your ears
Dragonflight
open.
really flipped the script
Drake
on
tells me that the
crafting in World of Warcraft with the goal of
Something
like
important is
bringing
about to happen.
like more players into the system and like making the system relevant after years of like
He's close to
it not
finding
being
it.
relevant. So you can see here like in the trade channel, this guy's looking for somebody to craft him a necklace.
As they
And it used to not be like that. Like crafted gear used to, back in like the Burning Crusade, I think there was some relevancy, maybe a little bit in Wrath of the Lich King, and then like it just went into this stale status where crafting professions were useful for like very niche things, but like crafting like armor and weapons and jewelry just like wasn't relevant anymore. So they switched that up pretty significantly. And we're looking for some
Ours is a
primalists. So we just use the quest item looking for these primalist infiltrators. Kind of a slow quest. This quest item like slightly unique. It just puts a buff on you that allows you to see the infiltrators.
Waters flow again.
Oh, shouldn't have popped that when I did, but whatever. So we'll mount up. Hoping we get our dungeon queue back up. That would be great.
For the glory of the dragons.
And I went through and, you know, I gave some like little pieces of information about each Mist of Pandaria time walking that we did. I'm not gonna like go through. It's three goblins stacked on top of each other. I'm not gonna go through and like talk about each dungeon, and like your experience will probably be different depending on when you're leveling your character and if like time walking is even available. Because if time, like I said, time walking, it rotates depending on sort of like where you're at in the calendar month. Right now we're in the turbulent time walking event that's happening, and that means that each week we get a different expansion time walking dungeon pool to choose from. So for this week, when I'm leveling this character, I'm doing Mist of Pandaria dungeons. Next week it's going to be a different expansion, so I could be doing Wrath of the Lich King dungeons, and then the next week I could be doing Legion dungeons. So there's just you're gonna go, depending on when you're leveling, it might be a different experience for you. But the key things to remember about anytime you go into a dungeon is just follow the tank and go with the group, and just try and like keep your eyes open and learn as much as you can. If you need to, you can turn on the one button rotation assist. I'll show an example of what that kind of looks like here. And that will really allow you to just like not focus so much directly on your buttons. And focus a little bit more on like what's happening around you. This is new. This just came out this patch. It basically, like, if you open your spell book, you can see up in the top right, single button assistant, cast damaging abilities for use in combat, rotating through them based on priority. While you use this button, the global cooldown of abilities used is 25% longer. So it does have a a negative impact on your overall damage, but for a new player, the jury's out on whether or not this is a good thing. The good side of it is that instead of having to look at your buttons, you're going to be looking up at your screen and your character. The bad is that because you're not practicing with your buttons, when you switch it off, because you should switch it off because it's doing less damage, you will not have as much experience with your rotation. So it's good and it's bad, and depending on what class you pick and what spec you're using, it does have like even more pluses and minuses. Like, it's not very good for outlaw rogue. It's not very good at pressing the buttons in the right rotation. It's not gonna know if your combat buff from Roll the Bones is good or bad. It is gonna use my pistol shot procs and my ambush procs, and it's gonna spend my combo points, and it is gonna roll the bones. It's not going to use any of my cooldown abilities. So here you can see, okay, my add-on is suggesting that I re-roll, and I just push that button manually, but the single button rotation assist wanted us to wait until... Jeeps. Sorry, I got a kidney out of this guy. He's a tougher rare than I expected. The single button rotation is just going to wait until that buff expires, and then it's going to roll. It's going to say, okay, hey, you're missing a buff. So it's got its ups and downs, but if you're going through the dungeons and you're just like, hey, this is chaotic for me, you can put this on for a time being while you get used to what's happening around you, and then you should definitely take it off and practice your rotation. We're back in our first time walking dungeon here. You can see we got some rested XP from last time. We've already burnt through a little bit of it. We hit that level up, so we are going to drop in a point here into Subterfuge, and it looks like we got a go fast group, so that's cool. I like to go fast. Single button rotation assist will actually... Oh, going a little too fast for Moon Angel. Single button rotation assist will actually activate AoE abilities when it senses that you are near multiple enemies. So you can see here that it actually... it did activate Blade Flurry as part of the rotation. Again, it's not going to activate cooldowns, so that's something that you have to put in sort of manually. But it's a great way to keep an eye on what's going on. So like things like kicks are important, not necessarily in level up dungeons, but oh, that's interesting. Interesting little thing about the one button rotation. So because it's not on my stealth bar, I just kept casting ambush over and over and over again. So if you're a class that can stealth, you gotta put it on both.
Even the gods you give me in tribute can't keep these lesser beings from my palace. Breathe deep, men. Prove yourselves now. Deal with these intruders. The clan who brings me their heads will have my favor. Clan Girth will show our king and the rest of you power-hungry imposters why we are the rightful ones at his side.
I think one of the things that we will do today is just kind of like set up a little bit more of an advanced UI, just like slightly advanced. You can see here, you know, this is fine, but it can be better. We got a lot of wasted space with these buttons. We could shrink the bars. You know, we only really need. I mean, we could pull out 8 buttons just from these top 2 to just like bring this action bar in a little bit, make it a little bit more concentrated and focused on the area that we want to be paying attention to. However, I think what we'll do is we'll bring in one of my existing weak aura packages that I use. Whoa. Killing spree got me kicked out. We'll bring in a weak aura package. We'll talk about Plater. And then we'll kind of like move our bars around a little bit, but we'll keep it simple. We'll really focus on just a couple add-ons at a time. Because as you can see, I mean, you can get to level 52 and no real need for anything at all. I mean, you get to level cap with nothing. You can play the game with nothing, but I think that the benefits are pretty good. So I'll share those with you. I think Plater is kind of the biggest one in my opinion. Like right now, you could tell in like trash packs or like even fighting these bosses, like it's a little hard to read. There's not much information. I forgot my poisons again. That's a good reason to have weak auras. I keep forgetting my poisons. So we'll talk about my weak aura package and then a cool weak aura that I use or recommend folks use. We'll remind you for stuff like that. Again, downloading weak aura packs like the Luxos pack or just any of the content creators, like you can find if you play Rogue, if you play Druid, you can, you know, find content creators and take a look at what they have from like a weak aura perspective, or see if it's downloaded, or you can use the wago.io website to find a UI pack there. Simple, minimal setup. They'll guide you through the whole process. I was looking to see if I had an ability called Tricks of the Trade, which is actually a talent, so I don't have it. It'd probably be good for group combat. Basically, we talk about threat during this dungeon. You don't really see it. You don't really see it at all when you're leveling up, but basically, like, one of the core concepts or mechanics, I guess, for tanks, if you're in a tank role, is the concept of threat, which is basically just like the mob's attention. So if you played classic WoW, you're going to be very, very familiar with threat. There's like a meme about Sunder armor with warriors, and you have to wait to start doing damage. You don't really have to wait 99% of the time in retail to start doing damage. You can really just go in right away and start swinging. But threat does still exist. So threat is basically like who has the focus of the mobs, and typically you want it to be the tank. But sometimes, for example, like the tank needs to establish threat and they need to cast an ability. So he just threw Avenger's Shield, and Avenger's Shield deals damage and because he was the first person to hit the mob, and because he's a tank, he has increased threat generation. So if I just went in and started hitting them before they even started combat or hit the mob, I would have the mob's attention. I would have the most threat. So I want to keep my eye on this Oracle because I want to kick him. There it is, Cleansing Flame. Oh, the tank knows. The tank knows what's up. There's like a lot of conversation about threat at like the higher levels of the game. Some people think it's a pretty outdated mechanic. Like, You know, tank really shouldn't have to worry about that. Some classes like Rep Paladin, some of the warriors, they can do a lot of upfront damage really quickly. It's called burst damage, and that can result in them ripping threat or pulling threat off of the tank. I want to get this guy in, so I'm gonna kick him. He doesn't want to come. He's just gonna sit over there and wand. So classes can rip threat, and then they die, and they get mad at the tank, and blah 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 blah. So there's a lot of discourse at the top right now, just currently in June of 2025, about the concept of threat and whether it should still be there. As a new player, you really shouldn't have to worry about that. Basically, just know if you go and fight something before the tank does in group content, they will punch you and you could die. But Tricks of the Trade is a talent for rogues that redirects all threat you cause to the targeted party or raid member, beginning with your next damaging attack within the next 30 seconds and lasting 6 seconds. I thought that they changed it. I thought it was an hour-long buff now, but maybe that is with a specific hero talent or at a certain rank. Maybe I need to level up a little bit more. So we're plugging along. This one's kind of slow. We're still getting good XP. We burned through our rested XP. And we'll still get that bonus. The bonus is obviously it scales up with your level, so it's up to 63,000, which is actually crazy. It says I need 38,000 to level up. This is like almost a 200%. That's insane. We'll see how long that lasts for sure. And I don't know in like the back end, like if this counts as a quest or not, or, you know, I don't think that it does, but there's a slim chance that this could get a bonus from our Master the Time Ways buff. Cool. After we're done with this dungeon, we'll go make some quick UI changes. You can see here, right? 1-button rotation. I'm not doing a great job with it, but like I can really focus in on looking at the nameplates and noticing, hey, this guy's casting a fireball. We're going to kick it.
Too far away.
Too far away. During my last video, I didn't do my due diligence and I just grabbed a playlist off of YouTube that was, according to the title of the YouTube video, copyright free. And of course, as soon as I uploaded it, I got a notification that it was against copyright for one of the songs right in the middle. Thankfully, we were just doing this. We were doing a Timewalking Dungeon, so not the end of the world. But that's why we're going to be listening to gameplay. Gameplay's music for right now. And then when we get to the end and we're like really running like a lot of dungeons, which I mean, if you've been watching so far, that's kind of what we've been doing. But when we're doing a lot of dungeons like over and over and over and grinding our IO, leveling up our Mythic Plus ranking, I'll make sure I do some due diligence and find a nice little synthwave playlist we can all enjoy. Cool. Level up, level up. So we got that level from being at the end, and then we're super close to our next level, which is awesome. Got a couple talent points. So we'll finish off Subterfuge. And then I'm going to take a look again. Got my WoW head guide open on my other monitor. You can open it up on a phone. Or you could not use it and just make your decisions and have fun. Ooh, they want to re-queue. Let's go. I'm down. We'll wait on the UI. Path through loaded dice. We're focusing on the left side talent tree. So we're going to do take them by surprise. I don't know if we did Gate of the Setting Sun yet. So this is another Mist of Pandaria dungeon. You're up high on this wall, these ramparts, and you're fending off an assault, basically. Mobs do this like little smoke screen mechanic. Smoke screens aren't super popular. It is a rogue PvP ability. I think there's actually two. I think there's one called like Duel to the Death, which like isolates someone with the rogue so their party members can't see it. But then there's also a smoke bomb ability that you either have to go, you lose visibility, so you either have to go inside the smoke bomb, or you can't target or use your abilities on people that are inside of it. So you can see experience from the quest or the end of dungeon reward went up a little bit, 66, but our level cap went up to 42. So it's going to start to slowly get like a little bit less valuable over time. I don't know why it wanted me to pistol shot when I was full of combo points. It seems like not very effective. Also, not using Killing Spree as our finisher. It just keeps using Dispatch over and over again. There it goes. That boss, very simple, just does some, drops some bombs that shoot out lines in sort of a cross formation, which is what the trash did beforehand. So very, very popular theme. I mentioned it before, but Blizzard loves to show you a little teaser or hint of what the boss will do. Oh my goodness gracious. What the boss will do by implementing some of that into the trash. Looks like we pulled some stuff. I'm noticing one thing about the newcomer chat that seems to be a pretty consistent theme is that folks don't seem to realize that they're in it. So by default for new players, this probably would be better for episode 1, but for default for new players, it just puts you in newcomer chat, and when you hit enter, that's where it's going to put your message. So I've seen a couple people that come in here as new folks, but they're already in their dungeons and they're like plugging along, and they they hit enter and they tell a party member to do something, and it just gets broadcast to newcomer chat, which is like, who cares? But their party member isn't going to be hearing that, so I'm not trying to say it's like an embarrassing thing, but it's an embarrassing thing, and also the message isn't getting across. So I covered it in the first video, but you can access different chat channels by using some certain commands. /I is for instance, which will get you in party or raid. /1 is for like the general channel. /2 is for trade. 5 is newcomer chat, and you can see what those are. I'll show you after this boss fight. Just left stealth, unbelievable. This boss up on this platform here, you gotta take the elevator. Elevators are a hilarious concept about retail World of Warcraft. We'll talk about too. And then he like flies away and he does these like strafing runs across the platform. And you want to just like kill the ads while he flies around. And he'll goes across this way, and then he comes across this way. I don't know what it is about these bug guys, but they like the cross pattern for some reason. And then he comes back down after 2, and then you just go and kill him. You can still do damage to him, so if you're like a range class, or you're like a silly melee guy like me and don't care about the damage, you can like try and chase him around. But once he starts a strafing run, he has to like finish the animation. So like has no health, he has 1 health, but he is gonna just keep going, keep plugging away. So our evoker is gonna dance. And then afterwards, I don't know if you still have to do this or not, but these cannons become active and you can fire them to kill the bombardiers that are flying around up here. I don't think it's important, but elevators are funny. They don't really do these anymore, but like this elevator has a lever. If you're a new player, wait for your party to get on the platform before you hit the lever. And if they're not, you can press the G key to ping a location and encourage them to get on the elevator. And then same thing, if you're going back down, just wait to hit the thing. I'm just watching the cutscene because it's cinematic, and this big guy, Rygon, breaks through the door. He's gonna be our final boss fight. The things I like about this group are the queue times. The things I don't like about this group are that it's like relatively slow. You know, I mean, it's not crazy. I could probably make it faster if I turned off 1-button rotation just a little bit, but whoa, getting smoked by this guy's frontal cleave. This is a boss. He puts poison on the ground, and he does a frontal cleave, which you just saw, which I stood in. There it is again. Brings me to salt. So take care of him. You might be saying like, hey, this game looks easy. This game looks easy as heck. This part of the game is very easy. I mentioned it a couple of videos ago, but there's that South Park meme where it's like, now we've reached the level cap. What do we do now? We play the game. And that really is where you're going to end up spending most of your time. Not super new player friendly in this dungeon, but you have to like run down the wall and then just drop down into this pit and get healed up to fight this final boss. And with this final boss, he is battering the next gate that he's trying to get through, so he just keeps backing up and slamming into it. And when he starts the fight, what 2 DPS players want to do is jump up into these cannons and start attacking his weak spot. And once we kill the weak spot, it'll send him into like a debilitated state, while the healer, tank, and one other DPS are down on the ground. A couple little adds will come in, and they'll be able to tank them and dodge some stuff. And one button rotation, not doing it for us. It's actually, you can't cast Killing Streak up here. So once he backs up and rams, he's gonna knock us off, and you have to get back up into the cannon and do it again. That's so funny. Okay, so this is definitely a reason to turn that off. Here come the ads. And won't let me jump up here. Wonder if there's, I don't see any debuffs, but I guess we gotta let the other guy go. Our tank is up there. Hello? I wonder if it sends NPCs up there if nobody clicks on it. Our tank's up there again. All right. Look at me. I'm the tank now. Oh. Is that it? Yeah, okay. So we broke through, and now he fixates on a random player, and he's kicking Tyler's butt. But Tyler has to like run away. I forgot that I turned one button rotation off, so I gotta go. Start action. I was just hitting Sinister Strike over and over and over again. There we go. Gate of the Setting Sun. I think I'm gonna depart from this group. Appreciate the levels, boys. We're definitely gonna hit level 70 today because we have been playing for like, I don't know, 30 minutes, and we're level 57, so we got 6 levels just from that alone, which is huge. That'll mean that during our next video, we get to go into the latest expansion, which is awesome. So we are going to make some UI changes real quick before we continue along with our campaign. So the first thing that I'm going to do is if you don't have them and you want them, we talked about weak auras. Those are already loaded in. The other add-on that I think is useful for players, and we'll talk about today, is Plater. Again, this is like nameplates. So out here in the world, it's a little bit hard to read. I'm old. I wouldn't hate if these font sizes were a little bit bigger. Plater will allow us to do that. It is, however, not the most user-friendly of add-ons. I'll show you why in just a second. I really, really, really wish that they would give it a little bit of a facelift in the settings area. You can see here up in my minimap area, a new icon appeared when I loaded this add-on. You can also type in /Plater. And for a new player, this is like, what the hell? Yo, Yogurt, what are you doing to me, dude? Like, this is absolutely bonkers. Like, this is just the first tab, and there's a ton of settings that I have no idea about what's going on. You'd be right, and I'm sorry. However, I would definitely recommend for new players, until you get used to this, or you might not even need to ever get used to this. You might be able to use Plater out of the box or with a profile forever. But you will eventually start to understand some of these like concepts. In the meantime, you can absolutely use a profile, and you can find those on wago.io. So you can go to their website, and under the here, let's just take a look. Grab a browser, pull it over here, go to Wago. Maybe we'll just grab one instead of grabbing the one that I usually use. Okay. Grab this one, so you should be able to see what's good now. So under the imports, browse, and then down here are plater nameplates. So these are all the different profiles for plater. I think you can browse specifically ones for like outlaw or combat, rogue, plater, classes, rogue, outlaw, but I'm just going to look at the plater profiles. With plater, you can change a ton of stuff. You can see that there. You can change animations, cast colors, cast sounds, mods, NPC colors, and you can add in like specific scripting. So it's like it's really, really, really open. This one, actually, the second most popular one is one that I really, really like. It's Jundi's War Within Season 2 M Plus and Raid Plater. I'm pretty sure that he updates it every season, and I'm gonna grab this one because this is the one that I based mine off of. I've made a few minor changes. Find one that you like. You can look at pictures to see what it might look like. You can see examples of certain things, and you can click copy import string just like we did with weak auras. You go into plater, you go into profiles, you go into import profile, paste the string, click OK. It's going to name it Jundi's Plater, and it's going to reload. And I realized that I just did that without switching my screen back. So copy import screen in your game /plater, click the icon, profiles, import profile, paste your import code, Jundi's Plater, click OK. It's going to reload your UI. And now we can see here out in the open world alone, I can see enemies a whole lot better. I can see that this guy is a raider and this guy is a lava blade. With the plater profile that we're using, it actually syncs in the quest information, and it actually shows this number 11 is how many more of these quest mobs I need to kill. So plater is great. There's so much customization. Just start with a profile and go from there. It's also going to change the way that our other mobs look, like NPCs. It's going to give you customization. So you can see here this butterfly is a yellow mob, but we can actually see a little bit more of the game where we couldn't before. For NPCs, it looks like it keeps it about the same, but that is something that you can also customize as well. I'm just going into the general settings, friendly NPC, and I'm toggling this to enabled. And you can see that's going to change what this looks like.
Welcome to the
so that my friendly NPCs are a little bit more readable as well. They have a bit of a different font, a bit of a different background. I could even go in here and I'm like, man, my eyesight ain't what it used to be. So I can go in here and I can go under NPC name text and I can go from size 9 to size 12. Doesn't actually look like it's making it bigger, which is kind of a bummer. Because it should. Just checking some of the other settings. Spell name text size, level text, NPC name text name only. See, this is the intricacies. So these are set to just showing the name, not showing the health bar. So there's two different sizes. This is the size of the name if the health bar was showing. This is the size of the name if there is no health bar. So I just increased it from 10 or 9 to 12. You can see it gets bigger on the left side of the screen here. I'm just going to keep it at maybe 11. I want it to be noticeable. So maybe we just go full 12 and see how that is. And again, like that's one of the intricacies with Plater and why I think that this UI is overwhelming and not good for new players. So go in, grab a profile, import the profile. 12 is definitely too big. We're going to have to drop that back down. Friendly NPCs. Stick with 10. We'll give that a shot. It'll definitely sort of clean stuff up. So Plater is one of those that I would recommend as like sort of an essential weak aura. I'm just gonna dive right in here and just start swinging. And you can see here, a couple of the things that it has changed are don't want to die, don't want to die, don't want to die, stun. Shoot them them. Shoot them. Cool. We didn't die. We're gonna recuperate. One of the things that it changed here as well, aside from adding in like how many do we need to kill, is it's gonna show me if they have any buffs. So up here you can see, it's hard to see, but this little backpack icon, they have a supply laden buff. They're overladen with supplies. That doesn't mean really much of anything right now, but it will when the buff is relevant. And then the other thing that you'll see probably with this lava blade here is what it looks like when they are casting. There's Burning Sweep, Inferno Cloak, so you can see the kickable casts a lot better than you could originally. I might die here, and that scares me. Maybe I shouldn't be fighting 3 things at once. Kick the cloak. Ooh, close call. So we're going to recuperate again. We need to kill 5 more to finish up our quests. We added Plater. I was going to make a couple more UI adjustments. So let's see if I can bring in my Weak Aura pack. And I don't have any plans on making my Weak Auras public anytime soon. I would just recommend finding a content creator's pack that works for you. But if there ever did become enough demand for mine, I could definitely do that. The thing that's different about my Weak Auras that I did mention last time is I have a really bad I'm pretty bad at, like, I don't know how to describe it. I put my keybinds on my Weak Auras because I don't remember always where all my abilities are. So that's why I would definitely recommend like starting with your action bars. You could customize this in the existing settings for World of Warcraft, right? You could, you know, maybe you don't need 12 bars for your main rotation. Maybe you just want to look at 8 or 6 and you make them bigger and you make that a focal point for you. Or you can, you know, grab a Weak Aura pack and you're probably smarter than I am. So, you know, I know you're smarter than I am. So, you know, hey, this is, these are where my abilities are because I just put them on my bar. Like I know where they are and I've been practicing with them as I level up and everything's totally fine. But that is one thing that you'll see when I bring in my own Weak Auras is I have all my buttons mapped out on them to kind of help me. So I'm going to grab my rogue pack. Yogurt Rogue, copy import string, Weak Aura, import, Yogurt Rogue. Cool. So mine put them sort of like right in the middle of the screen. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to activate edit mode and I'm going to reconfigure my action bars. So I'm going to drop 1 over here and 1 over here. And I also don't need to pay attention to them quite as much as I was before. So I'm going to drop down the size a couple of notches. Because all my information that I think is relevant and pertinent is up here on my Weak Aura. So I'm going to bring in my player frames a little bit more. There are add-ons that can influence your player frames as well. I'm not going to install those right now because I'm just leveling and we're having a good time. And so like this tells me my health and my energy and my combo points. If you're a healer, that might be something eventually that you want to investigate in. The most popular one right now is called Cell. Again, not as bad as Plater, but it's got like a ton of customization that is could be a little challenging for folks. It does look like my weak aura came back with the horn because I have that weak aura in my pack, as well as just added into my UI naturally, the Roll the Bones weak aura. So we're gonna make a couple quick changes. Sorry about that. Roll the Bones. We're just going to, we're just gonna drag it into this one, and we're gonna delete the old one. And now we got it. We just got to adjust our position here. Cool. And then the other thing that I need to do is I need to enable mask. And mask is another add-on, and it's just going to make this pop a little bit more. This is like not new player needed at all, but it just enhances some of the UI elements a little bit. And it doesn't look like my settings are set up properly, but you can see here it added some borders to my buttons, and it made them actually kind of look like action bars, which is super funny. You might be saying like, hey, this just looks like your action bars, buddy. Like, why did you go through all of this? Like, what are you doing? And you would be right about it looking a lot like my action bars. However, the reason that I've created these is that they're significantly more customizable. So you can see here, for example, when I press Blade Flurry, I'm actually tracking the duration of the buff, and I'm showing the countdown timer right here on my screen instead of up here in the corner. It's still there, but it's showing me how long I have Blade Flurry activated for and when it runs out. So when I'm no longer casting AoE abilities. We're going to make, you can see the mask button came up here. So we'll talk about another add-on later. We're going to start accumulating buttons. But I just have a clean UI skin that I like to use that will transform our weak auras into something like this that just pop a little bit more.
What is going on?
So we can really see what's going on here.
My best people.
And now that we have Plater and weak auras set up, I'm going to hop back into the Timewalking Dungeon queue because the XP is still really good. I get at least a level and a half while we continue along campaign quests in Thaldrazzus. The other thing that I'm going to do is just make sure that my abilities match what I have on my weak auras. So like these are my bars. This could be confusing. These are my bars and my buttons. On my regular UI, I actually hide this, or I reduce the transparency down. These are the keybinds that are associated with these abilities on the weak aura. So on the live version of the game, this is the regular version of the game. This is where I have all of my buttons. And you can see that most of these are very similar just naturally to what I have, which is because I do what I mentioned earlier, where I make sure that my buttons are the same across multiple different things so that I can be as consistent as possible. So I'm just adding these combo point main rotation abilities to my stealth bar because I want to make sure that I can use them when I need them, even when I'm in stealth. So accepting some quests. I'm just going to hide the tier hold quest so that I can keep on point. We also got a couple different quests. We got we did finish the Timewalking Dungeon one, so we'll turn that in eventually. But we got a quest, the Call for Allies. This is going to introduce you to the allied races, which was a conversation we had back in the character creation screen in episode 1. You can find all the episodes on the playlist on YouTube. And on the character creation screen, you saw like the Volpera, and might have been episode 2 because you have to be level 10 to unlock those. But the call to allies is going to bring you to our major city, and it's going to show you where you can learn more about the allied races and like how to unlock them.
Remove these interlopers.
So apparently when I moved that weak aura to roll the bones, it screwed some stuff up because it's not telling me to roll the bones anymore. So we're gonna try and fix that. Oh, it is telling us a blade flurry, so maybe it just liked our broadside. Let's see. Well, our buff is down. It's just not there. Ikora. We'll try and just take it back out of the pack and see if that does anything. Oh boy. No! Yes, we made it. Just can't stealth, so we're gonna vanish. We get our ambush combo points going. Yep, still broken. Still broken, so we broke it. So we're gonna go back, and I'm gonna open up wago.io.
The energy is strong. No, no, do not fail me!
Sweet. Got that same necklace again, but we're like 6-8 levels higher, so still has no agility. It's like we equipped the last one, so we'll equip this one too. It's so funny, it is showing the blade flurry. Oh. This guy doesn't know the trick. He pulled the pack. It's okay. Whoa. Go to wago.io. We're typing in roll the bones. I got rooted. My upstairs neighbor's moving this morning. And it's loud. It's loud in the house. I'm sure you can't hear it, but they're clomping around. Just gonna let my team fight this while we find War Within, Outlaw Rogue, roll the bones, copy import string, open. Oh, I can't open weak wars in combat. So I'm just gonna have to roll with it. Still feel bad for just shooting monks in the face with a gun.
I need to get closer. Too far away. I'm out of range.
So it opened after combat ended. We're just going to delete this one. We're going to import the same one again. Hopefully that fixed the settings. We'll see what happens when we get in combat here. But you can see here, yep, there we go, cool. I'll just have to change the audio again. But you can see here my current UI, like all of the information is a lot more centralized and it's concise. One of the things that you want to really kind of work on when you can is just like getting comfortable with your rotation so that you can not look at your buttons all the time. What you want to be doing is looking at the what's going on around your character, looking for ways to like help your group.
So that we may be properly introduced. Very well then, outsiders. Let us see your true strength. Skill with a weapon is but a physical manifestation of one's martial strength. Let me show you what spiritual power is. When I was but a cub, I could scarcely throw.
When I was a young warthog.
Years of training,
I don't know why, but whenever I listen to the voice lines, it always seems to just like trigger a song in my head. Not all the time. Just gonna hang back real quick while I get rid of this noise. Where was it? Allow audio. There we go. Cool. Another good general rule of thumb too is like you want to try to be putting your damage, especially for a combat rogue or an outlaw rogue, into like the highest health enemy, because the way that this spec works, you know, it might not be your spec, but the way that this spec works is that Blade Flurry strikes up to 8 nearby targets for physical damage and causes your single target attacks to also strike 7 additional nearby enemies for 50% of the normal damage. So what this refers to a concept called funnel. Wow, that hurt. And funneling, I mean, this isn't funnel. This is, I guess, priority damage. Funnel would be when you get a benefit from maybe applying a dot, or you get extra resources for more mobs being around that can then be used to deal more damage to a primary enemy. Blade Flurry works similarly, but not precisely that way. In that it's doing a lot of damage to whatever your abilities are doing damage to your main target, but your AoE is all at 50% of that. So whatever you're targeting, you will be doing more damage to, and less damage to those things that aren't targeted. So you want to always be targeting a priority, which will typically be the mob with the most health. I think this is probably where we're going to keep our UI for a pretty good long while. Our Uyghurs will change and update a little bit when we get some different abilities. I might make some changes to make some info a little bit more apparent. We might implement nameplates, or not nameplates. We might put in like party frames or unit frame add-ons at some point. I'm not a super huge fan of how these look. I'd like to be able to see the numbers, particularly for like my health. For a rogue, it's not super critical that we know what's happening with our party. I mean, we want to know if they're alive or dead. we're dying. But we, unlike some of the other classes, we don't have any heals that we can cast on them. We can't dispel any bad magics that are on them. we can't do a battle res at all. Okay, that was a unique choice there. Do what we did last time. We're going to attack this essence, cleanse this. Can't tell if he's pushing the button or not. How to purify the corpse. Yeah, the rogue class there's not much that we can do that really impacts the party compared to what we can do to impact the mobs that we're attacking. So that'll definitely be a bigger priority for us. However, if you are playing a class that can heal, if you're playing a class like that can heal anybody in their party, really, or you're playing a class that can dispel their team members, which we haven't even talked about that yet, it might be worth investing in unit frames. And there's a couple, and there is stuff here that you can use in the base level UI. So you can see here on the left side are these debuffs. So we in our last group, we used an ability called Battle Lust. We just used it again. Sorry, diving into combat here. The ability is called Bloodlust for the Horde. It's called Heroism for the Alliance. And everybody in group just refers to it, or in the game just refers to it as Lust. So if you are playing a cast that can cast Lust, you might hear them say Lust Shaman or Lust Hunter. We're gonna join this queue. Lusting refers to casting Bloodlust, which is a haste buff, and it can be cast by shamans, hunters, evokers, and mages. Those are all Lust classes. And it's one of the more powerful buffs because it basically gives your entire raid or your entire party a large amount of haste, which allows them to all cast abilities faster, which is great. So I did want to join that queue, but it looks like the group just kind of fell apart, so we're back to questing. So unit frame add-ons, important if you can influence your party. Rogues really can't, so it's not a priority for me. In a future iteration, maybe in season 3, when we are playing a different class, we'll definitely talk more about those. We could do a separate video on like what those look like too. Or you can also use your newly found add-on browser, Wago Companion or CurseForge, to take a look at unit frames and learn yourself and find some videos. All of the healers out there that are popular content creators have some different cell profiles that you can import, and they'll be able to walk you through their setup process and how to get that configured. There's another example of my weak aura, so I'm trying not to die here. And so I cast evasion, and it actually shows me the duration of my evasion buff, and then because it was a fire elemental, I knew it was casting magic, so I clicked Cloak of Shadows to prevent taking damage, and it showed me the duration of Cloak of Shadows as well. And if you install the Luxos pack or you install a weak aura pack, it's going to show you this stuff too. This is just how I have mine configured to try and bring maximum visibility to it. Ooh, that hurts. That is painful. We're gonna vanish. Holy. Inferno Cloak is no joke. Alright, we'll take a safe approach, I guess. We're just gonna sap this guy and kill this guy while we're waiting. It's telling me to push Blade Flurry because it senses that I'm close to a second target, but I don't want to be doing that because it will wake him up from his sap. All right, back to the previous conversation, and we should probably join a dungeon group again because it'll be a better example of what that looks like for us. But the concept was around buffs and debuffs. So we've seen some examples from setting up Plater of like what buffs look like. Buffs are beneficial, like this supply laden, overburdened with supplies. I don't know why it's a buff for this guy. I have no clue. Could be related to like a world quest or something, but debuffs are the opposite. So debuffs are negative negative effects that last for a lengthy period of time. So here I just got a debuff, Primal Fire, 1100 fire damage, and that's coming from him casting this spell, Primal Fire. So that's why we want to kick things, because they hurt and they reduce our downtime, and we don't like downtime. And in groups, they can kill you. They can kill your character. They can kill your party members. So debuffs can also be dispelled by your healer in a group. So the reason that you would want to enhance your party unit frames or your raid unit frames is so that you can see those active debuffs, particularly as a healer. And you can dispel them. That's a major part of like the healing gameplay. Alongside just keeping your team members alive. And it's not just healers that can dispel either. So depending on the class that you play, other classes can dispel certain things. For example, shamans have an ability called Poison Cleansing Totem. And they put a totem on the ground that will dispel poisons over time. Mages have an ability called Remove Curse. So not all of them are magic. Healers can remove magic. They're the only ones that can remove magic is someone in the healer role. All healers can remove magic. But other debuffs include diseases, which can be removed by a restoration druid or any druid. Poisons can be removed by paladins. It's not a comprehensive list, just some examples. So poisons, diseases, curses, and then magic debuffs. Those are the 4 types of debuffs. I'm sorry, those are the 4 types of dispellable debuffs. There's a 5th debuff called bleeds. So as an assassination rogue, we can inflict bleeds, but certain abilities, warriors or warrior-like mobs, can also inflict bleeds on their targets. And bleeds can only be removed by effects that make you immune, or by the dwarven racial stone form. Oh, and I'm sorry, by evokers. There was one class that can remove bleeds, although the cooldown is a little bit longer. I'm trying to find these Mossborn spears. I would assume they would be somewhere on the ground, but I am not seeing them. I'm just kind of like floating around in this little area here, just looking at the ground. Hello? Y'all got any spears? I would think that would be a spear. I'm stuck in a tree. Oh my god. Which is funny because I picked up 4 of these already. The only problem with a yellow highlight is when you also have little hints of yellow in the in the area that you're at. They're holding spears, but their nameplates aren't lit up and there's no yellow glow around them. I did take their spears, but they're not the quest spears. Y'all got any spears around here? I got off my mount to just get a closer look to make sure that I'm not missing anything. All right. Perhaps a few more can be obtained from the magma swarm. I think we're just gonna start killing stuff, I think. Excuse me. Drinking our healing potion. He's gonna get that Inferno cloak. It's a bit of a bummer. Gonna evade. Gonna reroll. And also kite. We can talk about kiting as a concept. I wish I didn't do that because then he cast his Inferno again. We're gonna stun him. Whoa. That's cool. Little cheat death. Okay, we can talk about two concepts. We can talk about cheating death, and we can talk about actually we can talk about three concepts. We can talk about cheat death, we can talk about kiting, and we can talk about the /reload feature. Sometimes if you're not seeing what you need to be seeing, or you have a problem with your UI, you can type in the chat /reload. I mentioned this last time when I was talking about weak auras and UI elements. /reload will essentially bring you to a loading screen, and it will refresh what's going on there. Wow, we were like 1 XP away from leveling up, so we're definitely going to hit level 60, 61. We got a ton of talent points because we haven't been paying attention. We've just been leveling so fast. So we'll spend those in just a little bit. We're just going to plug along with the group right now because it's not essential. Level 60, let's go! There's a big milestone. This is the old vanilla cap, although it's been squished a couple times, so that doesn't really count for anything anymore. Oh god, I ran ahead with the tank. Don't forget what I said. Follow your tank. Unless, is your tank here? Tankiness. Come here, tankiness. Come on, buddy. The other thing that you'll notice about these nameplates too, probably, maybe, you can edit a lot of stuff. So like in combat, you'll see that they turn red by default, which means that they're not attacking me. You still have the white or the yellow nameplates. It also shortened their name, so their full name is Hosen Party Animal. And it just shortens by default. This profile shortens it to just have the last word because Hosen Party Animal is just like too much. And what you'll often find with like content creators or streamers is that they will like refer to things by shorter versions of the name, like kick on Conjurer, stuff like that. So shorthand
Come on, get your hook on.
will be an often occurrence that you'll find here. So we talked about reload. That was one of the other things. I also mentioned the words kite, and I mentioned the words cheat death. So start with cheat death. I got this little debuff up here. This must have happened when I was leveling through the campaign at some point, and I didn't read this, but it looks like I have the protection of the Ruby Dragonflight, and so when I'm in the outdoor world, this could also be part of the renown track. When I'm in the outdoor world and I am gonna die, they actually save me once every hour. It looks like the debuff lasts for 57 minutes. It says the magic of the Red Dragonflight has saved you, preventing you from death. I also talked about the talent cheat death, which I took, probably didn't need to, but the talent cheat death allows me to, instead of fatal attacks, instead reduce you to 7% of your max health. For 3 seconds, you take 85% reduced damage once every 6 minutes. There's a couple other classes that have cheat deaths baked into their talent tree. Fire Mage is one. It has a talent called, I don't know the name of the talent. But they have a talent that will essentially light you on fire instead of dying. The rest of the mage specs don't have that talent. They have different defensive abilities that contribute to their defensive suite. And then every so often, players in the tank role will mention cheat deaths because they will have abilities or trinkets usually that will, some of them do have cheat death talents. Vengeance Demon Hunter has one, Death Knight has one, Warrior has kind of one. It's not as good as the others, but cheat deaths will basically, you know, give you a freebie, so they can allow you to, as a tank, take on a little bit more than you might be comfortable with, knowing that you're going to survive. And they can save you from an unfortunate or accidental circumstance, which is good.
What are they doing to our elemental?
And then kiting, I mentioned, hey, like I might have to kite this enemy. Kiting is just the concept of running away while still keeping the mob engaged and tagged without dying. So like there, you know, kiting can only be done with okay, I guess, are we just trying to hide? Running? Kiting can only be done with like ability, like with NPCs or enemies that that are melee. And basically the concept is you're running away and you are trying to still do damage so that you don't die and you survive and you eventually kill the enemy. I don't know what we're doing here. I guess we're just like running to the next zone, which is fine by me.
Yes, yes, so close. Just a pinch of oops.
So here are some good examples of like seeing debuffs on your screen. So both me and the tank have the debuff bloat. This is not one that is dispellable. You can see it doesn't have like a tag here like magic or disease or anything like that. You just have to let it like run out. But unit frames are where you would see that if you're a healer for other players. So even if it's not dispellable, an indicator like this for me as a healer would say, hey, this person is taking damage over time and is going to need healing from me. You can see them in the base nameplates or the base unit frames, but custom unit frames will allow you to basically do the same thing as we do with weak auras. You can highlight them, you can put borders around them, you can hide them if they're not super useful or they're very minimal impact. So there's like There's a bunch of things that custom nameplates will allow you to do that you can't do with the Blizzard ones by default. And they are working on improving these things in the base game, but it'll be a while before we get there. And if you want to get AOTC or 3KIO by the end of the season, then you got to install an add-on probably. Last boss fight, level 60. We got 6 talent points. God, we're going so fast. So there was Bloodlust. That sound that you just heard sounded like a, I don't know, dragon's cry maybe. That was Bloodlust, and I'll try and find it here. It's got different icons, but the evoker version of Bloodlust is called Fury of the Aspects. You can see here haste increased by 30%. So that's pretty big for your whole group, right? Everybody's attacking faster and doing more damage and doing more healing. And this was the mechanic from this boss that I mentioned earlier. I don't know why it didn't come up and why it bounced me instead of letting me jump, but I'll send a little wave of beer across the screen. And we're really cruising. Okay, we got packs to open, backpacks to open from doing all these dungeons. We're level 62. Our healer left the group, so we're gonna leave the group because we need to take just a moment to settle down here, allocate all the different things that we've gotten. So we're gonna open our rogue guide, and we're gonna start getting some capstones in the outlaw tree, which is sweet. Again, this is the recommended leveling build, so we're going to put a second point in, take them by surprise, increasing haste while stealthed and for 16 seconds after breaking stealth. And then we're going to take hidden opportunity, effects that grant a chance for Sinister Strike to strike an additional time, also apply to ambush at 80% of our value. And then we're also going to take crack shot, entering stealth refreshes the cooldown of Between the Eyes. Between the Eyes has no cooldown and also dispatches the target for 50% of normal damage when used from stealth. So pretty sweet. We'll talk about, like, we'll implement that in a little bit too, just so you can see what that looks like. And then we got our points into Subterfuge. We're going to get 2 points into Alacrity. That's going to allow our finishing moves to have a 10% chance per combo point. So a 50% chance at full combo points, 60% chance 50% at 5, 60% at 6 combo points, to grant 1% haste for 15 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So the more combo moves, the faster we attack. The faster we attack, the more energy we get back from from one of our talents. Where did it go? From Fatal Flourish. The faster our haste, the faster we regenerate energy. So it's all coming together. And then we're going to flip this one step further. We're actually going to get Deeper Stratagem. You can see it's got the same icon and a very similar name, the Devious Stratagem, over in the Outlaw column. And this is going to give us 1 more max combo point. So now our max combo points are going to be 7. Your finishing moves that consume more than 5 combo points have increased effects, and your finishing moves deal 5% increased damage. Same text as Devious Stratagem, so our finishing moves now deal 10% more damage, and they'll last longer, they'll do more overall damage, they will have a 70% chance to grant 1% haste for 15 seconds, stacking up to 5 times, so it's almost a guarantee. But there's a lot of benefits here. And so now we're going to continue our end goal with the Outlaw Tree is going to be to get Ghostly Strike. So we're going to start by pathing up through Ace Up Your Sleeve. Between the Eyes has a 5% chance per combo point spent to grant 5 combo points. So 5% chance per combo point spent is going to be a 35% chance at 7 combo points to grant 5 combo points. So it just feeds into that flow. Another one that we're going to pick up a little bit later is Count the Odds. We're going to work our way towards Ghostly Strike, pick up Fan the Hammer. And then we have one more point in the Rogue tree. We're just going to pick up Leeching Poison. So your lethal poisons, the ones that deal damage, grant you 3% leech. So just by putting the poison on, you get 3% leech. We could talk about leech too, what that is. But first we're going to re-queue in Time Walking because it's giving us so much XP. I also mentioned the bags. We want to get a new weapon because we haven't gotten a weapon in a while. We got a neck with agility, so we're going to equip that. We did get a couple of rings. Insane stat changes here, right? Look at the Ring of Malice, has 219 haste and 313 mastery. So we definitely hit a breakpoint here for sure in these Time Walking dungeons, probably around the level 60 area. So we're going to equip our level 152 ring. And then we're just going to take a quick look through this gear. Big helmet. Start from the top. Dagger. Dagger is a higher item level. And with Outlaw Rogue, we do need an axe, a mace, or a sword in our main hand, but we can put a dagger in our offhand. So I'm going to just plop this dagger in the offhand and bind it to us. It's also going to give us that appearance collection, which is great. And we're continuing. Lower item level, higher item level, higher item level. Bind to us. Lower level, lower level. We'll talk about crafting again. We got a trinket at 225 item level, so we'll put that one in. Talk about unused trinkets. Put that on our bar. And we're just going to take a look here. So much action happening so quickly, which is great. This game is not boring. So this is the other ring that we got. Big upgrade there. Oh, were they the ones that dropped the... Never mind. I'm just going to fly over here. I'm going to enter the dungeon. Go into the dungeon. We're going back to Scholomance. I'm just going to keep looting stuff real quick. So it's the same necklace, different stats. It's got haste and mastery. We got a different helmet, higher item level. We've got that same necklace again. So we'll just leave it. One thing about armor types too that I should definitely just double check with the stuff that we equipped. We always want to be equipping all leather. Oh my god. I'm so far behind. And these guys are cruising. So now you can see down at the bottom we have those 7 combo points. So we're doing a lot more building. With our combo points, we're also reducing the cooldowns of our abilities by more seconds. So we can bring Between the Eyes back off of cooldown a lot quicker. And there, Between the Eyes did not incur a cooldown. It happened again. So we're really betweening the eyesing. We could save that to make sure that our crit buff stays up, but we also get this new talent that we just unlocked. So it just procced, we hit between the eyes, and it gave us 5 combo points. So we can immediately go into a dispatch, which is great. Again, this is like rogue specific stuff, so you might be like, hey, Yogurt, I'm not playing a rogue. I like wizards, and that's okay. You're going to have your own abilities, and you're going to read them, and you're going to learn what they do over time, and it's going to be okay if the group goes faster than you're going. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. You can see I just did half this dungeon with my inventory and my character screen open.
Well, show me what you've got. Come, try your luck.
Outlaw Rogue gets really fun when you get stuff like that, where we just use between the eyes and it didn't proc a cooldown, and then we refilled our energy with adrenaline rush, and between the eyes didn't proc a cooldown and regenerated combo points, so we hit between the eyes again and it didn't proc a cooldown. You can see like things are really picking up now in terms of like the speed that we're pushing our buttons.
My dear, it appears we have visitors.
So let's talk about on-use trinkets. So our trinkets up until this point had passive effects. One of them gave us health every time we killed an enemy that yielded experience. We outscaled that really quickly. 63 health. We're already up to 124,000 health.
What's the matter, boss?
So that one lost value very quickly, but you can see like that didn't hold us back. Like just keep going. But we got an on-use trinket after that last one of those bag openings. Integrated primal fire. Use, wind up, then unleash a cataclysmic punch upon your target, dealing 4,500 physical damage and 4,100 fire damage, and knocking them up. 2-minute cooldown. So this on-use trinkets can have many different effects. Our group is going fast, so I'm not going to pick up the pile of bones here. Some of them can be increased stat enhancements, so that you want to combo those with your ability cooldown. Some of them can be like this, where they're on use damage. So we're just gonna ignore our opener. Well, maybe we'll spend our combo points, but I'm gonna hit SQ. We can see it was just a wind up there that did some damage. So now we're getting back into it. We got to re-roll because it says to. Looted some gloves. It's an upgrade. Equip the gloves. Oh yeah. Between the eyes. No cooldown. Generates combo points. We're getting so fast. So you can see these, you know, they might not have sounded like much individually, but you can see these talents down here. They have a big impact for sure. Definitely help make the gameplay a little bit more fluid and a little more smooth.
Now turn your lovely rune blades on our guests and fetch me them.
I can't fight him.
I can feel her will breaking. Her soul burns so bright. Now, Lillian, it is time for your transformation.
Of course, now with the increased fluidity, we also have to keep paying attention to procs. So, you know, we got back-to-back loot. Let's go. You know, we got a proc that refunded our combo points, gave us 5 combo points, so we don't want to go straight into another spender or another combo point builder, because we want to spend the combo points that we have without overcapping. So that's a good example. Like, we just got a refund on our between the eyes, and I immediately hit adrenaline rush, and we got a refund on our between the eyes combo points. So I overcapped us. we pulled the whole dang room. There was our proc. We got our combo points refunded, so we're sitting pretty. There are some exceptions to overcapping. You know, I'm going into this like next ability or this next boss fight, so I should, I guess, open with Between the Eyes. We just lost a combo point, so now I'm going to open with Ambush, Between the Eyes. I actually forgot on this week aura, it hasn't been updated in a while, so Killing Spree is not being tracked. So we're gonna make some changes after this dungeon to our week aura suite. Got another level up, 64. Drop our points into Vigor and fan the hammer. Vigor increases maximum energy by 50 and energy regeneration by 5%. I'm gonna leave the group because I need to take care of a few things, like my updated week auras. Even though that group was nice and fast, if I wasn't going to take care of my week auras and I wasn't making a video, I would just keep going, keep on leveling, getting 1 to 2 levels per dungeon. All right, we are back. We're going to take one quick moment to grab a few things from my main World of Warcraft account. I'm just going to pivot over to Wacko screen. One of the things that I did do today was just pick up the base edition War Within expansion as it was on sale. It's only $25, so your all-in cost for your first month of World of Warcraft, which not the most the most cost-effective way to spend your money, but it is, I guess, less than buying a video game. But during the summer sale, which unfortunately ends today, they do sales relatively often. The next one will probably be with the anniversary, but your all-in cost would be $40 for your first month subscription, $15, $25 for the base edition. The higher level editions of the War Within, let's see if I can pull them up here on the screen. Warcraft, the War Within, the Epic Edition, Heroic Edition, Base Edition, those are your 3 options. And they come with these like different, good, it didn't play it. These different like cosmetic benefits. The Base Edition comes with Trader's Tender, which we'll talk about later. But it also comes with a free level 70 free. It comes with a level 70 character boost. So it seems like normally it's $50. It comes with more than that too. It comes with like the whole expansion. And the hours of content that'll be in there. However, in terms of like bonus features, it really just comes with a level 70 character boost and 500 Trader's Tender. The additions above that, you can see on the website, come with some additional stuff. I always buy the biggest edition because this is my favorite game, and when it comes out, I'm super hyped, but it comes with 30 days of game time, comes with a Hearthstone toy, comes with a mount, a transmog, a toy, a pet, more Trader's Tender, and a level 70 boost. This is the maximum level one, so I think it costs $90 total. The Heroic Edition, which is $70, just comes with the mount and the transmog, the level 70 boost, and some Trader's Tender. Honestly, looking back, I never use this transmog, and I rarely use this mount, so probably not really worth it, but I do like to collect. And if you get really, really good at the game, or really, really good at making money in the game, you can make enough gold to transfer it into BattleNet balance and pay for these expansions. It is a lot of gold. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. I'm just grabbing some weak auras from my main account. I will talk about them, what they are, why I have them, what's important to have. And every time that we install new ones, I'll talk about that too. But I'm just grabbing my Rogue One. We'll log out of there. And bring up BattleNet. Go over to the super secret, top secret account. And continue our leveling journey with Oatmeal. We're gonna get level 70 today, which I'm pretty excited about. We were going relatively slow here because we were just like talking so much about different things. But it's really picking up with the assistance of the Turbulent Timeways buff and with the Timewalking dungeons that are available. Scaling is a funny thing. It will probably come back on us in a little bit, where like level 70, they want that journey to be a little bit more impactful than just like zooming all the way to the end. And they're probably going to want us to go into the campaign, which we're going to do for fun anyways, because it's going to catch us up on like lore and stuff like that. So good to know. But we're transitioning back over and importing my most recent weak auras. So I'm just going to delete and delete, import. And this is my power bar weak aura. So you can find this on Wago if you search for yet another power bar. It just shows all of the resources for all of the classes in one succinct area. So I use it as part of my UI. And then I'm going to drop in my updated Rogue One in here. So when we hop off the dragon riding mount, you should have seen Killing Spree, but I'm not seeing Killing Spree on here, which is hilarious. So I guess we will add it really quick. I wonder if it updated. Huh. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and just edit a weak aura real fast. So you don't have to pay attention to this. If you like what you see, if you're handy with technology and handy with computers, and have a basic understand, not necessarily of programming, but of the concepts of like if-then statements, then you'll probably really like weak auras. Weak auras essentially allow you to track every ability, every debuff, every cooldown, and put it in a way that makes sense to you. The way that I do this effectively in game is by using an add-on called ID Tip. And what that's going to do is under every buff in the tooltip, every buff, every ability is now going to change the tooltip, which you can see in the bottom right, to include a spell ID and an icon ID. I don't care about the icon ID. What I want is the spell ID. So every single thing has an ID number attached to it, and we can use weak auras to reference that ID along with some basic programming concepts like if-then statements, and some basic logic paths to develop what I have in front of you here. So super brief weak aura tutorial, which I was not planning on doing today, and is not relevant for any character that is not max level. You really don't need this, but I'm just going to drop in. It's right there, Killing Spree. Let's check the load settings. Spell known Ghostly Strike, so I screwed up on that. So 236 277. Nope. That's the icon ID, 51690. So we don't have to go in super in depth. I just had the load settings not working properly. But we can see here, Killing Spree is now fixed. It is added in there, which is great. So we don't have to go into it, but basic, that was a basic rundown of the concept of every ability has an ID. Every buff has an ID. You can install a different add-on to be able to see those. You can also look them up outside of the game on Wowhead, but I like to view things actively in the game. So like, I want to have that add-on so that I can see what I need. Okay. Long story short, we got our updated weak aura pack. We got a rare mob down below us. It's being attacked by Andella. We're going to go help them out. Just need to get rid of that horn noise again. Bonus, we got 8700 XP, some training matrices, and probably a mail chest piece. Yep. I opened up a time walking bag and I got that same pendant again. Higher item level though, because we leveled up. So let's go back in and see if we can get access to these. Now I'm wondering, is it possible that this buff has something to do with whether or not they are carrying a spear? So let's loot. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, Blizzard. Keep an eye out for useful materials. Perhaps a few more of these spears can be obtained from the Magma Sworn. That is all that the quest text says. And they want you to just sit out here killing all these different mobs for no reason. Classic Blizzard. So now I'm hunting and I'm looking, and I wish that my player profile would have kind of shown me, you know, which ones are orange, which ones are carrying those specific things. So I'm just scanning for buffs, looking for the folks that might be carrying the spears. We only need one more. They seem to be people that were walking too. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but I'm just looking at nameplates and I'm trying to find people that are carrying the spears. While we're waiting for them to respawn, we'll hit I and we'll join the dungeon queue again. Check our inventory, still looks good. Man, this quest is kind of stinky. It's our first stinker quest that we run into. Looking for spears because we want to complete the campaign. If we get pretty close to level 70, we'll probably stop just queuing for dungeons just so we can plug along in this campaign a little bit. So I do want to kind of see, as a curious new player, where the storyline might end, and what context that you'll get around like what we're doing in the War Within. Okay, any day now.
What is going on? We must press on.
Just turning them in while we're waiting. This whole camp is picked clean. They really seem to hang out around here. Seem to be like the most popular place for them. They should really go back and, I mean, they shouldn't go back, but like this weapon rack should be interactable. Or some spears should be kind of like lying around on the ground. So I'm just going to hang here until something respawns or we get a dungeon queue. There's the respawn. Rock cleavers, no buffs. We could pick some pockets, maybe. Oh. Okay, we're gonna sit tight here. Let's pick this guy's pocket. 7 silver. Ooh-wee. 12 silver. They need to you should at least get a gold. They need to update that. I'm gonna write a forum post. Waiting. I know this tent has one. Here they come. I'm pretty positive you can only pick a pocket once. This is so tragic. Dungeon queues here. It's okay. XP is good. We will take the dungeon queue. There's some UI elements. I don't know why it's not popping up. I thought it was part of the base default UI. That will show you a little timer for how long you have to accept this dungeon queue. In fact, we're just going to leave. I really want to get this. And you don't suffer any penalties for leaving the queue. You do suffer a deserter penalty if you leave mid-dungeon, so you don't want to do that. I know you're here. Take a quick look around. We're looking for that buff. Don't want to miss the respawn. I should just join in on the fray and start killing stuff with these guys. Oh yeah, I gotta change that. We'll change that while we wait for the spawn. Practice mode. Or custom options. Third time today that I've turned off the audio. Well, in the time it's taking us to complete this campaign quest, we've done a dungeon, so we're gonna go back in and just gonna start slaughtering the camp like Anakin did to the Sand People. Maybe that will make him appear. Got excited. Did you see that? I need a target. You get annoyed by your character saying things like, I'm out of range and I need a target. Or you're facing the wrong way. Pretty sure you can turn that off in the settings. Oh, okay. Okay. Disregard. Just kill. Just kill the rock eaters over and over and over and over again, even though there's no way to tell.
It is good you are
Should have just kept doing the quest.
Keep the Primalist busy while I search further up the tower for the commander.
What am I shooting? This? See, these guys are moving at the right speed for my shooting style. Not like the last dragons.
Over here, I think I found Commander Aeronog. Report back. We must press on. Over there. Your guards did not join our ranks as expected, Aeronog.
I am not concerned. Dead soldiers cannot get in your way.
I see you have unearthed the Flame Stone. I can sense its strength.
It is now time for your end of this bargain.
Arise, Primalist Aeronog. I pledge this power to free my kind from the leash of the aspects. Then go, while I turn this wretched Titan-stained place into ashes!
You don't say.
I am thankful for your arrival. That traitor. Go to
One of the things that they are really good at in this game, in my opinion. I'm sure some folks would disagree, but in my opinion, Blizzard is really good at like introducing you, I probably mentioned this before, introducing you to villains as you're like questing and like leveling up or going through a campaign. So like Eranog is one of the bosses in the first raid. Like the Razageth is the final boss in the first raid, so like the main villain. So whenever you're going through a campaign, and it might not be evident like for a new player because of the way that World of Warcraft kind of like structures their seasons and their content releases. Because what's going to happen is like right now we're in season 2 of the War Within, so you're doing the War Within campaign and you're meeting the villain and you're like going through the storyline, and then no one is actually still doing that raid because that was the raid in season 1. So you continue the campaign along, and you'll eventually you'll follow the story and you'll meet the second villain for season 2, and then you continue the campaign and you'll meet the third villain for season 3. But it's not like super apparent for a new player. So I'm interested to see what happens once we finish this. Is it basically just like, here you go, fight Razageth, but then actually like you don't? We'll see.
These other clans are nothing. These pathetic clans are beneath you, my king.
Whoa.
They sully the great legacy of our
Cheated.
people.
I cheat deathed. The other thing about sorry, this camera angle stinks. The other thing about scaling that can be a little bit frustrating for new players is just when like scaling starts to get out of hand. I mentioned like this, they changed the scaling for they changed the scaling for time walking with this most recent patch. They increased the difficulty and the health. Well, at certain breakpoints, like hitting maybe level 60, hitting level 70, you'll find all of a sudden like huge power gains. Like we saw all those like secondary stats just like really, really jump up. But the amount of those secondary stats required to increase your stats by a percentage point will also change in the background. So what you'll often find sometimes is occasionally you just become weaker, or when you're starting out, you're abnormally strong. It's just one of the side effects of scaling. $65 got us another talent point. We'll put it in Fan the Hammer. When Sinister Strike strikes an additional time, gain 2 additional stacks of opportunity, maximum 6 stacks. So the pistol shot buff. So we actually get 3. So we go boom, spend our combo point. Oh, it gives us more combo points. Okay, okay. Oh, Pog. Opportunity gives us 120% increased damage.
Only the strong deserve to stand at our king's side.
What a combo. See, every time we spend it, now you can really see with these weak auras. I spend 7 combo points, We'll lose a chunk of time off of both Adrenaline Rush, Killing Spree. We lose it off of Between the Eyes, which is what helps reduce cooldown, so that we can keep the buff uptime at a maximum.
Impossible! Our might is the greatest in all the Empire. Clan Gurthy will show our king and the rest of you power-hungry imposters why we are the rightful ones at his sire.
You get that nice sound effect when you proc with your Between the Eyes and it resets, or it gives you your bonus combo points. See if it happens again. Nope. You'll see how quickly Blade Dance came off cooldown.
Surrender our right to rule the destiny of our people.
Some of that comes from our abilities. So True Bearing, or our Roll the Bones. True Bearing reduces our cooldowns even more. So when we have that buff up, our cooldowns are coming up faster. I apologize for like the in-depth rogueness if you're just leveling your character. There should be new player guides up on YouTube for like every class. Eventually we'll get there. We'll try different classes, but they also change classes relatively frequently.
Could bring in a lethal race to do their bidding. Must betray us. A well-scripted exchange, but we are not fools. Your clans are clearly in league with one another. For the glory of our king, our empire, we will put you all down.
When it says awesome, that means we're getting every single one. So like huge chunks down here. Watch Killing Spree. Boom, like 10 seconds off of that one. Every time we use a finisher. So it just feeds into this awesome little feedback loop. We're casting Between the Eyes more, so we're getting resets more. Gonna already Killing Spree again. Bam, bam, bam. I was talking about error speech. Error. So we're moving the error speech is what will changing the error speech setting is what will remove it from that. Make it so that you stop hearing it in game. Down. Just trying to put some damage into this guy. I think he's gonna. Oh, okay. Walked over to the Oracle. I thought he was going to kick it, but he didn't, so I kill it. See how long this takes if you don't get Cleansing Flame the first time. There we go. Also kind of feel like we have somebody who's not doing anything. I think it might be this hunter who's just casting Steady Shot over and over and over again. if you're watching this and you're like, man, dude, Killing Spree, that ain't it for me. You can rest assured that not only is Killing Spree unique to the Outlaw Rogue, but it is not going to, it's going to get a rework in the next patch. So it won't even look like that. It's very overwhelming. Yay, we got a weapon. Big W. Weapons are important for melee. That's what I mentioned in our last video. You might be like, well, okay, like, how do I know how much damage I'm doing? All I see is this number popping up on your screen. That's a good question. What you'll need may change depending on how Blizzard enacts their new add-ons. What you need is what's called the damage meter. There's one popular one called Details. It's damage meter. I need the streamer or the tiny thread, but whatever. I don't want to do this while I'm waiting for an elevator. It's a couple different damage meters. Pretty much 95% of the World of Warcraft community uses Details. A couple folks use one called SCADA, S-K-A-D-A. And the damage meter records damage. I'm going to enable this add-on. Download it using CurseForge or the Wago companion app, and it's going to drop two things on your screen. One's going to be a little tutorial, and then one's going to be the meter itself, and you'll start to see it work. I'm just going to bring it to the bottom right. And this is not something that a new player needs, but I'm going to show you how to use it to understand more about your class. Details records combat within the game, and on the first column on the left, you'll see your total damage, and on the column on the right, you'll see your damage per second, which is also known as DPS, which is the name given a role that we are playing. You can see my damage increased after I used Killing Spree. And I need to apologize to the hunter, but this raises more questions. The hunter was casting Steady Shot, but is now a survival hunter. We'll talk about that later. Hey, we're doing okay. Second place in damage on this little boss fight here. Feeling good. Nice. We hit level 67. They want to queue up again. Somebody doesn't, so we'll just leave here. That's fine. So I want to keep this campaign a hustling. Because we're going to level 70. Oh. Dropped us in the middle. We were flying up to see the aspects. Oh, grab this glyph. Boink. Oh. Talk to Captain Drain. Got a bag. I'm gonna open the bag. Got another helmet. Fire item level helmet. Got these sweet epic bracers. Don't care about ancient Mogu keys. Alright. So Nosdormu has a quest for us. You can see here, we've only discovered a little bit. I will say one thing about Thaldraszus, the final area, leveling area in Dragonflight, is that it is a lot of mountains. So like the explorable areas really are like around Valdrakken and then in here by Tierhold. This is actually up in the mountains and is the raid itself. And then this is all related to one of the dungeons. So Thaldraszus really is just like the end of the campaign, trying to figure out what Razageth is up to, what she's doing, and why she's doing it to really move the plot along. And the discovery of the zones is really more about the side quests. So I mentioned her before, but Nosdormu is sending us over to meet up with Chromie. Chromie is one of the gold dragons. Grab this other point in vigor and the talent, not the dragon riding. And I'm going to land also. I'm going to spend my next point here, which is in Ghostly Strike. So that'll give us a new ability, which is cool. Strike on 1. This is Chromie. She's funny. She's a gnome. She's a gold dragon. And I think that edit mode actually changed dialogue entirely. I want to keep dialogue on. There we go.
Trying to corrupt our bronze oath stone in the temporal conflux. That stone embodies our calling to protect all time. If corrupted, anything could happen, including... Oh no! Murazan! We can't let that infinite turn Nosdormu into his awful dark alternate self. I'm going to go try and hold her off. You help Dante sort things out down here.
Again, the oath stones for the dragons. We've fixed them all so far.
Our ranks are missing.
Helped Notharian with the black one. The red one was fine. Helped Malagos with the blue one. Or Caligos. And then we're going to help Chromie and Nosdormu with the gold one. The Infinite Dragon Flight, they're like the enemies, essentially, of like the Golden Dragon Flight. So they have a place in history, and they actually, if you are doing time walking, you can get at the end of every time walking dungeon, there's a small chance to loot an Infinite Dragon as a mount, called the Infinite. I think it's called the Infinite Time Reaver. And it looks sick. I'll show you what it looks like. Mounts. Infinite. Yeah, Infinite Time Reaver. Oops. It shouldn't do it while you're fighting. Looks really, really cool. Really, really low drop rate. A lot of people want this. Which is why you might even see people at like this level doing time walking dungeons, because there's other, or maximum level, there's other rewards that you can claim from it. So we got Ghostly Strike from our latest level up and talent point. So I'm just going to move this over because my bar's got a little bit bigger to make room for that. And Ghostly Strike, we don't have to go into it too deep, but it basically like buffs your spenders for a set amount of time. It also gives you 1 combo point. So we just do more damage. So what you want to do is like, this is the first introduction of the concept of a damage window. So damage windows are basically moments, whether they're your own cooldowns or a boss's debuff, where you do more damage. So with Outlaw Rogue, Ghostly Strike sets up a damage window. You could also consider your major cooldowns damage windows. You're doing more damage, but this one for Ghostly Strike is pretty short. Strikes an enemy dealing 10,000 damage, physical damage, and causing the target to take 15% increased damage from your abilities for 12 seconds, awards 1 combo point. So what you want to aim to do, just as a default, and this goes for all your cooldowns, so maybe I should really call it a cooldown window, is you want to fit as many of your high impact abilities into that window as possible. So a good example would be our finishers, right? Killing Spree does 70,000 damage over 2.3 seconds. Between the Eyes does 11,000 damage at max combo points. Dispatch does 14,000 damage at max combo points. Ambush does 8,900 physical damage, which is pretty high. Sinister Strike does substantially less, I believe. So what we want to do is build up close to the cap of combo points and then spend them on something like Killing Spree, which is really hard to demonstrate on this like regular enemy. Collecting time motes, collecting that energy from the beasts in the area. With Ghostly Strike, you know, I mentioned overcapping. Like, we want to always try not to overcap, but I think Ghostly Strike, it awards 1 combo point. You might get a lot of combo points in your opener. I wouldn't worry too much about overcapping combo points at that precise moment. It's more important to make sure we activate our cooldown window, get our cooldown on cooldown. Flying, you can see the impact of like those weapons, those capstone talent points. Like, we're almost back to where we were in the beginning, where we were just like killing stuff within a hit or two, just a little bit of damage. Hello. Hello, bird. You can see, like, this weak aura can be kind of annoying, but Roll the Bones is an important buff that we want to make sure that we're getting used to and keeping up. I might recommend, ultimately, you want to be the best rogue ever knowing and understanding what these abilities do
I can help.
when they come up.
We make Dante. This is the adventure I told you about.
Which you'll get over time.
Met. They appear to be another promising new recruit. I wish I could get back to my books. Come along. You as well, Seers Zerathel.
If only we could skip forward to already being Master Timewalkers.
Let me know when you are ready.
Oh, I'm ready, buddy. Ready to be level 70. Let's go.
Yes, I have time. That staff is able to harness temporal energy from a source. Please, give it a try. Well done. The staff can also be used to redirect the energy collected to a target such as this one. Excellent. Now, try focusing your staff's energy at this artifact in order to... Oh dear, it backfired.
What?
Brace yourself.
Oh, what?
Though Lady Sylvanas and her Forsaken finally took vengeance upon their hated enemy,
They just
the
sent us
Lich
back in
King,
time.
their dark crusade in Northrend proved costly. Betrayed by Grand Apothecary Putrus at the Battle of Wrathgate, the Forsaken's devious plague of death was unleashed upon both the Alliance and the Horde to calamitous effect. Unbeknownst to Sylvanas, Putrus and his demonic ally, Veramathras, had taken control of the Undercity. As a result, the Forsaken were wrongly blamed for the traitor's atrocities. Though the Undercity was eventually retaken, Sylvanas and her followers still bear the weight of Putrus' sins. Mistrusted by the other members of the Horde, the Forsaken must now prove their loyalty to the cause and redeem themselves from their supposed treachery. To this end, Sylvanas has bolstered her defenses within the Tirisfal Glades and readied her undead forces for any contingency. As one of the Forsaken, you must use your cunning and viciousness to slay any who would pose a threat to Sylvanas' rule, be they human, undead, or otherwise.
So we didn't get to experience this because we were,
There you are.
because we were on
Happens
Siren
sometimes.
Isle doing the new player
We
experience.
must return to the present,
But when you,
however.
after you create your first character, you can create a new character and you can choose between the traditional leveling
We must
experience,
be going.
which will drop you into a specific zone depending on the race that you choose, and you can, or going through Exile's Isle. Can't remember what it was. Storm
are
Isle,
going
or the
back.
tutorial island. And the cinematic that we just watched was the starting for the traditional, the starting cinematic for the traditional leveling experience. And because our race was undead, they put a little meta joke. I'm assuming that when you
As
do
you
this
can
quest,
see,
whatever
there
your
are
race
serious
was is the
consequences
cinematic
to
that you
wielding
see for
time
the
magic
starter, because we're talking about
improperly.
messing with time ways, and they sent us back in time, and then he came and
For
got
the
us.
glory of the dragons.
Exile's Reach? No, is that Path of Exile?
So many books, so little time.
Level up, level up.
We will
68.
find time. It has
Select
been a
residue.
time.
Exile's Reach. It is called Exile's
I know
Reach.
what to do. What is the problem?
Okay.
Let
Do
me
I
head
care
to the
about the
rifts
talent
first.
point? I'm pretty
See
sure the
you
guide
there.
tells me to get Thistle Tea, but I don't want to get Thistle Tea. I think this ability freaking stinks. But I could see why it would be useful out in the open world. I don't have a weak aura for it. I'm not going to make a weak aura for it. I'm just going to have to remember when I'm low on energy, hit shift 3. stuff. Okay. Let's kill some stuff. It's time to slaughter. I mean, things are dying so quickly. I'm just kind of like, not really worried about capping on combo points. I'm just making sure that I can put my abilities on cooldown. I'm keeping my buffs up. And because Blade Flurry is the only way for me to do AoE damage, I want to make sure that's up. And if I run into trouble, I can vanish and go and recuperate. Rule of thumb with questing, always go towards where the objective is to not kill something.
Not bad.
Kill
Let
on
me
your
handle
way.
the next one by myself. The energy from this rift feels primordial.
Warlocks.
This is not good.
Oh, what are you doing? Uh-oh.
Maybe you should handle this. I think a Murloc just merged into that timeline.
I think so too.
Do we? You can close this. What is it now?
When am I?
Hello.
We cannot lose more time. Until next time.
Why were you inside that time rift?
It is a long story. Is it that time?
Dante is going to love this.
I'll be deep in my books.
Inventory's full. No way. Is there any place I can sell? Hourglass vendor. Oh, that's cute. Ooh, a toy. We'll buy that. We've got gold. Got money to burn. Sell all junk. And then I know we looked through all this, so I'm just gonna vendor happy. When you're leveling, like, you can save some stuff. Like, I talked about this dragonflight cloth. Even that I'm like rolling my eyes at now. I'm not really too worried. Gold will scale up through expansions for sure. We'll run that test, we'll see. Toys are cute. Toys are basically just like little items that you can acquire through quests, achievements,
Yes, I have time.
reputation, all sorts of stuff, and they just do like fun little things. So like when you get a toy, you just use it to add it to your toy box, which is just a collection, and then you can see here this is the only one we have. So if you hit Shift P, it'll open up your collections where you store your mounts and toy box. And,
I do not know.
you can access the toys that you've acquired. I've never purchased this one before, so I don't know what it does.
Looked much like this.
Give your body the boogie it's been waiting for. Become a dancing fiend for 10 minutes.
In what way?
Holy
The
hell.
timeline was chaos.
And they're
There
just
was
fun little
destruction everywhere.
things.
Few left to save.
I thought that was part of the toy, but that's part of the quest. Some toys will change you into different races, so like certain toys people will use pretty frequently.
I never gave up hope.
I think we can do pretty much anything to preserve this timeline. That's what we want to be doing because our quest item has a good amount, a decent cooldown. So we want to make sure that we're going to these little things. Oh, I see. Sorry. We want to Hack the sentries, rescue the artifacts, and kill the things that don't belong here. Go to the quest items. Push the button. Thing, press the button, pick up the item, go to the thing, kill some murlocs while we wait, push evasion because we bit off more than we can chew. Kablam! Anybody ever watch that show, Kablam? Acting like I have more than one view bot in my Twitch stream. Hilarious. One day we get there. These guys might hurt. Should have kicked them. I had some health potions. I feel like health potions would be good. We haven't gone back to an auction house in a while though. There's one in Beldraken we could go to. We're going to talk about professions on level 70 pretty in depth, so we'll just hold off. Health potions could be really good on like a rogue or something though, because you don't have a self heal.
Consider all the
boots. Got our
I
quests.
wish I could get back to my books.
We helped these guys out. Now we gotta go catch up with Chromie. She's dealing with the real shit.
Please meet us there when you are ready.
Pass that infinite dragon.
Bubble, Eternus. I won't let you corrupt our bronze oathstone.
I call them gold dragons and they're called bronze dragons this whole time.
It matters not. I will ensure the rise of our Lord Murazond.
Never. Lord knows Dormu is counting on me.
Moral energy collected. Pull on the time stream to free the crystal. I walked the wrong way.
It's okay. Just use your staff on the shards instead.
Green time walkers, collecting energy. You can also assign a mouse button to this ability too, which I would actually definitely recommend doing if you're interested in pursuing the game at the highest level. You can use any mouse button you want, or sorry, it could be any button. I like to use my middle mouse click. A lot of people like to use that for like communication, apparently. So might not be the perfect bind for everybody, but I'm going to keep my key binds, and I think it's called extra action. Bindings, extra, button 1, middle mouse. Select. Getting things on the mouse, man, I just walked right into that one, huh? And I pushed all my buttons in the wrong order. I didn't push Blade Flurry. They seem to be casting a lot of spells, so I just click Cloak of Shadows to just stop taking all that damage. This guy. We can't see that that middle mouse button bind did work, so now I can just click that to activate the ability.
Whoops! Don't worry, we can replace those crystals. At least, I think we can.
Getting close. It's level 68 or 69. Nice. Stabilize, stealth nice and quick so we don't have to fight these mobs. Destabilize, stealth, rogue advantage. I missed this guy. Oh, I missed a quest. Oh, that's such a shame. I missed the quest from this guy, so we're gonna have to
I have time. For now.
kill time elementals. Oh, man.
Your friend is more than capable for
Look
this
around
task.
for the other quests, I guess.
I know they are. They were amazing
Oops.
in the past. Or was that the future? Or right now?
Look at this guy. He's carrying
Anyway,
supplies.
I know.
I think I now understand what the supplies mean. They're Dragon Isle supplies. Oops. All right. Got him.
Is it that
This
time
quest. Got another weapon, higher item level, haste mastery, verse mastery, we like haste. Take that. Leveled up, 69, nice. Got this, we'll replace our dagger, we'll turn in more quests. Boom, boom.
We'll hold Eternus in place while you free the wardens.
You have our strength, Ambassador Chronomu.
I may not be a full time walker yet, but I am strong enough to help.
Together, our power should be enough.
Your efforts are wasted. I have seen all possible futures. We shall be victorious.
Pull. Was not paying attention. Pull on the time stream.
Wardens, we're finally free.
Oh boy.
Slay this monstrosity and take back the temple.
You want to get that crit buff. Use Ghostly Strike before one of our finishers. Oh, it's dead. We're the best.
Until next time. I always have to. It's like meeting again for the first time.
We're ready.
Okay, everyone. Get ready. Oh, no, you don't!
My vision came too late. They have punched a tunnel through time and are tumbling endlessly amongst the infinite possibilities. You must find them and correct their course before the entire fabric of reality is torn asunder. All that matters is this moment.
Is it time already? Time. I shall be there at once.
Time.
We will
time.
do this together. Me? Right.
Is it that time already? Of course, hero.
Hilarious.
Seeing all of time is my fate. I have located the moment in time where we may find Chronormu. Soridormi, I shall need you to hold the time portal open on the other side. My vision did not show me much. I could only see blurs of fire, ice, and chaos.
Do not worry, beloved. I shall handle it. Sarah, you are with me.
Yes, Commander.
Open your mind to what is yet to come. Focus on the now.
Champion, I sense that Chromie is nearby. We must act quickly. I can aid you. Honda.
If you need help, call on me and I will be there.
Cool. Collect essence, fix temporal positions, and heal resistance fighters. Whoa.
I just knew no Stormu would send you.
Well, what the heck? Yeah, I need help.
Immortal,
Come here.
We do
Oh,
not have time to dally.
wait, what is happening? I should have looked at what we were doing instead of just flying in there. Wounds the targets in our proper timeline. Okay, we're vanishing. We're out of here. Read the quest. Heal the people.
I just knew no Stormu would send you.
Okay, didn't work.
Hurry, mortal. We do not have time to dally.
Away. Okay. This part of the quest is definitely for Chromie, who's getting in a little tumble with the Time Reaver.
I just knew no Stormu would send you.
Hurry, mortal! We do not have time to dally.
There we go.
Uh-oh! We're slipping away! Hurry!
Oh, relax. Okay, so we do need to kill Shape Master Zalani, but we need help from our person for sure. They seem to be fighting a monstrous monolith. So we're gonna just hop in, get avoidance, and ask for some help. Okay, she disappeared when I asked twice. Oh, it's a... Oh my goodness gracious, it's a bonus objective. Down here, Shape Master Zalani slain. So we're just gonna disregard that. Because it seems to be a little tough. We need to collect essence from 30 of these folks. Things seem to actually be hitting pretty tough. Oh, that's because they're all elites. Okay. We learned. Take 2. I wonder, there used to be an event here. There used to be an event here that you could view. I wonder if there's any like overlap in this, because the fact that there's these bonus objectives seems like it was part of the old event, but it doesn't seem to be active, so I'm not really sure. Okay, elemental essence. We're getting it. Let's try a monolith just by itself. I pushed the wrong button. Ah, it took forever. You got loot? Yeah, okay. Fragment of Celerity. Buff. Increase movement speed and haste, decrease cooldowns. Love that. That could help us kill these guys. Vanished, our escort vanished. It's good to know. Never looted it. Let's do these two instead. Nice. These elites are elites. 6. Looted it from over there. Alright, 30 out of 30. Gotta heal some more NPCs, like this little guy here. This little guy here. And this little guy here. Back up, take time into the present.
Greetings, adventure.
And then, level 70, we did it. It's huge. So a little bit of time walking, right? A lot of bit of time walking. But we hit level 70, and this was not fast by any means. You could definitely do it a lot faster if you're not like me, where you're yapping and explaining different things and not really focusing. We'll type in /played. We hit level 70 in 13 hours and 54 minutes, so 14 hours. This is not a speed run. You can do this substantially faster if you just sit there and log in and start spamming Timewalking Dungeons. You could get to level 70 possibly in one play session. That might be a bit of a stretch.
I imagine you will find it fascinating.
I will go at once, my lord.
So it's taking us to a different timeline. So if you just pick the optimal route, whether that's running dungeons over and over, time walking with a bonus to XP, it can be done a lot faster than 14 hours. Can definitely be done in under 10. No problem. And this, of course, is for your first character to get to the expansion, the current expansion content. So this is a new player guide, new account. So we're gonna finish the campaign just because I want to see where it goes, and it's gonna give us another mount. So we're gonna try and do that in this play session right here. I'm pretty positive that we're relatively close. We go through a couple different alternative timelines, kind of seeing what's good with Chromie over here. Can't fly here, so this is a twisted timeline where instead of the main bad characters being their normal selves, they're actually all Murlocs. So this is
this time they will be successful.
Let's gotta get closer, I guess. This is the events of Deathwing and the Cataclysm, but everyone is a Murloc. So you can see their little deathlings instead of little dragons. And this big guy right here is Deathwing Gurgle Gurgle. So we're just killing, collecting motes. We need to collect 12 motes. Motes are on the map. I'm pretty sure I can just run through them. I don't actually necessarily have to kill them. But we still need 9 more, so we're gonna kill them. See any? There's one. There. Can't fly. Oh, we missed it. You need to kill a few more of these Deathwing destroyers, so we'll do that too. There's one near a moat. I don't know where they want me to put my last talent point. There's the Thrall Murloc and the Varian Rin Murloc. Those are major characters for the Alliance and the Horde. Oops, I shouldn't have done that yet.
The sands of time are plentiful.
Enter Hopper. Okay, we need to kill Deathwing. We're going back. We're going back in. Up in the hopper. Cast a bolt made of spoiled fish. Shower the enemy in toxin-infused pufferfish guts. Out of range. I don't really feel like I'm doing a whole lot, but maybe we are. When in doubt, spam your abilities. Oh, we did it. Now, one of the unintended little side effects here, although you can see, okay, here's a good example of scaling. Is that, you know, we're still questing, we're still plugging along, we're still doing the campaign, so we might actually start, you know, the war within a level 71. Not going to be a huge problem. There's only 10 levels left to go in the game before we reach endgame. But you can see here the XP scaling changed pretty significantly. It now requires 225,000 experience to get to the next level, to go from 70 to 70. That's a pretty big difference between earlier, just 2 or 3 hours ago, we were leveling up at 30 and then 60 level, 60 XP to level. Now we're up to 225. It looks like these tiny little quests are giving us like 182, which they're just transition quests, so they should be lower. Let's see what a full-fledged quest from Dragonflight gives us.
So many books, so little time.
Time, so 1800. That's like
Zera and I will do what
nothing.
we can to speed our path through.
So ultimately, when you hit a breakpoint, like the breakpoint that we had hit, it's actually going kind of quick. The best thing to do is to get yourself, in order to keep leveling quickly, is to get yourself into the latest expansion, whatever that might be.
Where are we?
The war of the shifting sands. Take care to avoid the combatants.
I read Those Mogu were vicious. Go, Pandaren! Kick their ass!
Zera.
Authoritarian regime to the curb!
Oh, we hit one. This is actually, it's funny to end on this one as like a new player, because it is, I mean, it's not giving you like a real history of events, but it is giving you, I mean, these are all events that happened, but it's not giving you like the full details, you know, that it might be giving.
Where are we? Is this even Azeroth?
It is Azeroth, though an exceptionally long time ago.
We should find Chromie and get out of here. This place is scary.
I wish I could get back to my books. We will find time. You know where to find me.
They want us to hang out here?
This is far in the past, right?
Yeah. I know you. What you were. You will
Okay, I see him over there.
the deep places.
Getting a benefit of being a rogue. We're just gonna stealth past all this stuff.
Flow in his wake. I know you. What you were. What
I am so glad you're here. We're definitely in a bit of a situation.
Hernandez.
You did it!
I am also relieved not to be.
You cannot succeed.
And this area that we're in here is the domain of the Black Empire. This is the actual like physical location that we're in here, Nyalotha. This was a raid in Battle for Azeroth.
Is this hello?
Black Empire.
Goodbye. I keep losing track. We'll meet again. We just need a moment.
Less chatter, more focus.
You can see here how World of Warcraft,
Here comes the Black Empire.
the
Right on
stakes
time.
tend to get pretty high pretty quick when you're playing this game, which I mentioned before in a previous video.
So
It was one of the main criticisms
Use the staff. Remember
of the game, and
your
why
training.
in some of the expansions they try and dial it back a little bit, starting in Battle for Azeroth. But it's good to have a big bad villain. So what they really did to kind of try and make some improvements was the side quests and the lower level quests are a lot more low fantasy. They're about, I think I mentioned this before, they're about like helping the locals to like fix some of the impacts of whatever is happening in the big world.
we're almost done. We'll be back soon.
Brace yourselves.
getting back.
I feel like this first introduction
You
of
have aided
Chromie
Chronormu. For that, I am grateful.
doesn't
I
really
will
put her in the
spare
best
you.
of light. She sounds kind of anime-like. She's actually not that bad.
Quickly.
We will bring you to your ultimate fate. You cannot deny what is to come.
Nosdormu's got his whole storyline.
When we meet again,
involving time.
do not
and
expect
demise.
clemency for what has transpired.
Check in with Chromie.
Hello or good? Nosdormu, are you okay?
Eternus nearly succeeded. I thought I had more time.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I thought I was strong enough to defeat her.
Ah, Chronormu. You have done nothing wrong. You fought valiantly and well. But Eternus is right. My fate is inevitable.
What do you mean?
Each day that passes, the future flows into the present, which blurs into the past. Soon, it will merge into one, and that is when I will become my darkest self, Murazond. And when that day comes to pass, I look to you to do what must be done.
Yes, Timeless One. I will do exactly what you need me to. I will find another way.
There is none.
Time encompasses all possibilities. You taught me that. I will search every timeline, every moment.
Getting some Dumbledore Snape vibes here. Like, you gotta kill me. Spoiler alert.
Chronormu, in all timelines, please know, I am and always have been proud of you. Our final meeting.
Cool. We got our last dragon.
Future will
And you can see our XP,
as it was meant.
not what it was. But we finished the gold dragonflight, or bronze dragonflight, sorry. Quest chain, campaign quests, and it sends us back over to Valdraken. And it looks to me like, given the experience rate, you're not going to want to continue along with the Dragonflight campaign. So I'll catch you up on what you might miss. Pocket watch is a trinket that increases movement speed. Put that on my bar. You mind if I do? Speak with Alexstrasza.
What is it you seek? With the Oathstones of each flight renewed, I believe we can channel the essence of each into the Mother Oathstone and restore our aspectral powers. This sacred artifact and symbol of the unity of dragonkind lies within Tierhold. Coronos, what can you tell us of it? It has been many centuries since we last walked the halls of Tyr's stronghold.
When the Isles awakened, so too did the Guardians of Tierhold. While some have resumed their duties, others have taken to acting erratically. Should you go there, I I cannot guarantee the greeting you will receive.
I understand. However, I have faith that with the help of our champion, we can overcome any danger.
And that explains the quest to go to Tierhold, which is the next part of the campaign. So with this quest, we have officially finished the campaign for Dragonflight. We've gone from the Waking Shores all the way through. And that's what it's going to tell us. So with every expansion, first time you do it, you got to go through and unlock, go through the campaign. So right now we're in the War Within. We're going to go through that campaign and unlock adventure mode again and some of the additional warbands features. When you complete the campaign, you're going to unlock world quests. You're going to have more access to the factions and the faction quest lines for the renown. And you're going to unlock adventure mode. So your future characters can do Dragon Isle zones in any order and access world quests immediately. We're going to do the same thing with the War Within, and then when Midnight comes out, it's going to be the same thing. The first character, what you're going to want to do is just level through the campaign, doing all those quests, and you can do it with side quests if needed. Now you can see on our map, we have these little doodads that are popping up. These are world quests, so they grant us with specific rewards. You can see where all the flight paths are that are on the map. I'm just going to filter those. I don't need those at all. It's funny, I don't see where they are, but that's okay. Whatever. So world quests are active. World bosses are active. So we can go here. We can get that's the quest ID. We can get a little bit of gold. We can get some loot from killing this world boss. But because we're leveling through an expansion behind, what we actually want to be doing is moving into the next expansion. And I'm surprised that we didn't get a quest yet that would tell us where to go. You'll notice some quick changes to the talent screen, which I just opened to look and see if we had any unspent talent points. At level 71 with the new expansion, we're going to unlock hero talents. There are 2 hero talents per specialization that give us access to a different row of abilities. We'll unlock all of those as we level up to level 80. For right now, and where we're going to end the video today, we're going to stop questing in Dragonflight. And I'm going to tell you a high-level overview of what happens after this to get us to the new expansion. So basically the campaign. So taking a look at the dungeon journal is where I'm going to start. What we just did here was we completed restoring the Oathstones, and our next campaign step is to go to the Tierhold dungeon or the Tierhold area to learn more about the Titans. The Titans were early protectors of Azeroth, and they gave the aspects their powers. They have sort of like a hidden agenda, hidden, not so hidden, but they also have these sort of devices that are like all over Azeroth that help like control and contain power and are set up as like defenses towards the otherworldly threats. This leads us to our first raid of the Dragonflight expansion. This was in season 1. It was called Vault of the Incarnates, and this is where we go and we fight the primalists, the primal dragons, ending with fighting Razageth. So this raid thematically is a lot about elementalists, and you fight a bunch of different bosses with those themes, ending with Razageth. Razageth is in the Vault of the Incarnates to free her brother and her 2 brothers. There's a fire dragon named Farak, and there's a bronze dragon named Eridikron. While all of that's happening, our buddy Raytheon is exploring his heritage, and the next raid in season 2 involves the Black Dragon flight, and the main villain in this one, which you discover through the campaign, is Scale Commander Sarkareth. He is an evoker, the final boss. He's kind of on his own tangential quest. I think he was set upon this path by Eridicron. And he is looking to like restore and take power for the Sundered Flame, which it does tell you a little bit of the lore in the overview of each of the raids. So he's going through the Black Dragon flight and all the experiments of Neltharion that exists back over in the Waking Shore in the Obsidian Citadel. His raid entrance, I thought, was over here, but I guess I'm mistaken, or maybe it's just not active, or it's under this this different area here. Oh, sorry, we go underground. So in order to access that, we meet in every patch in World of Warcraft, you'll typically get a new zone. And in that zone, you will meet like a new race or something like that, or a new faction. So in season 2, we unlock Zaralek Caverns. Zaralek Caverns go underneath the world, so you actually fly down into them from the top level. And here you meet the Loam Niffin. They're little, I don't know, like 3 blind mice vibe mole people that live in Zaralek Caverns, and underneath the Obsidian Citadel, which you access by flying down into Zaralek Cavern, is the entrance to Aberrus, the Shadowed Crucible, where Scale Commander Sarkareth is up to no good, and you put an end to that. And then the final raid in Dragonflight was Amir Drasil, the Dream's Hope. So this focuses on one of the brothers, Fyrak, who is looking to basically light it up. He wants to light fire to one of the world trees. World trees are a lore concept for another video for sure, but probably for another content creator to talk about. They basically like give life force to Azeroth, and Amir Drasil is one of them. And this raid is all about basically chasing him down. You get access to another zone. And I'm pretty sure we actually plant this seed for the new world tree after some other events that happen, but do happen in this expansion. You go through this raid, and Fyrak, the fire dragon, has fire primalist, has afflicted some of the different raid bosses and tempted them over to the dark side against the dream, and you end the expansion by taking care of him. And all throughout this, you're slowly being introduced to a character named Xalatath, and Xalatath is like the main box figure of the War Within expansion. And Xalatath will help transition us from the final boss fight with Fyrak, when we defeat him, into the War Within expansion. So what we're going to do for right now is we're just going to take a look at our quests. I'm just going to abandon to tier hold because it gives us 140 XP, and we're not going to continue along with this. We're never going to get this quest done for Relics of the Four Kings, so I'm going to get rid of that one. I don't really want to go here and turn these in because it's a really long walk to get there. Allied races we're going to keep. Brackenhide, we're not coming back to Dragonflight anytime soon, so we're going to ditch that one. Shrouded Path Through Time we can turn in Orgrimmar. And I don't know why they want me to go to Oribos. I don't know where that one came through. So we'll just sit tight on that one. But we're going to go back to the main capital of Orgrimmar. And congratulations if you just happen to be playing along or you're referencing this. Like at this point, we have completed the introductory expansion. So
a radiant song. We believe it's a warning, but we're unsure of its meaning. Meet me in Silithus. We must ask Azeroth's speaker what this vision means.
And that is a quest from Thrall to go to Silithus. But I didn't see anything pop up on the screen. Here we can see a quest called the Harbinger, which is Xalatath's name, or Khadgar's summons. So this is definitely something that could be a little bit more fluid when you hit level 70. And maybe this would happen because we hit level 70, we would log out, we would log back in, and this one might pop up. But this is actually the quest that you're going to need to get started in the War Within expansion. It's going to give you a Hearthstone to go to the Chamber of the Guardian, which is where we're going to start our adventure next time.
I've asked Illyria to meet us there as well.
This is the embassy. So one of our other quests was about allied races. You can see here when we walk into the embassy, there's a bunch of different banners. G Firepaw is just going to introduce us to some of these. So they want us to learn about the Volpera. It looks like for some of these, you might just unlock them when you hit level 40. The Earthen one seems to be glitching out. The Earthen is the allied race that came with the War Within expansion. They're super customizable dwarves. And it looks like there are quests. So, meet Bane Bloodhoof at Thunderbluff and Mulgore. This is going to be for the High Mountain Tauren. Vision of Time. This is Zuldazar. So these are the Zandalari Trolls. So each of these quests corresponds with one of these 5, not the 6, these 5 allied races. If you are interested in the Volpera, the Zandalari Trolls, the High Mountain Tauren, or the Mag'har Orcs, or the Nightborn, you can do these quests to unlock them. I don't know how long the quest chain is, but it is unfortunate that you can't start with them. However, if you're into it at this point, you're still going and you're liking it, you will likely be at level 70 looking to purchase. This is as far as the base subscription will get you. With the base subscription, you will still have access to every zone and every previous expansion. If you want to go and start collecting mounts and collecting transmog, you are at the appropriate level to make any of the old content trivial. Any of the old content from 2 expansions or later trivial. So Dragonflight is still, you still have to do stuff with a group. People do run group content for this expansion still, very, very small. They don't really run it for the raids, Vault of the Incarnates, and for Aberrus. There's a mount that drops off of the highest difficulty for Amir Drasil that people are still chasing. It's a really cool Fire Owl mount. So this is something that you'll see groups for. The dungeons, people don't really run these too much anymore. You have access to all of these previous expansions. So Classic, for the most part, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mist of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, Legion. And this is the order that they occur with, not only in time in the real world, but in time based on the timeline, with the exception of Warlords of Draenor, which is sends us back in time. So you can go through these different campaigns if you want to. Our friend Chromie is over here by the embassy. And she will actually, looks like we have to complete the Radiant Song portion, which is part of this Harbinger quest line, which we'll talk to next time. But when you create a new character now at level 70, you will actually get access to a different starting experience. So if we go to create character, we'll just pick something random. And we click next. You can start with Exile's Reach just like we did, or you can start with the regular starting zone. You can head to a major city and you can go talk to Chromie, and she will let you choose a timeline to level in, and that will give you access to the different campaigns from previous expansions. And it's not super relevant with Classic. With Classic WoW, it's basically just like, there was no campaign. You level in any zone that you want to. Here's lore walking. We'll talk about lore walking. That happened when we just logged in. But for the previous expansions, you can talk to Chromie to pick a timeline. Sorry, reads. To go through the Burning Crusade, to go through the Wrath of the Lich King, to go through Cataclysm, to go through Mist of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, Legion. So all of these are available for you to level through and experience the story if you want to. It'll be very, very similar to what we went through with Dragonflight, although the ones from olden days are probably a little bit bumpier than like the ones starting in like Warlords of Draenor, Legion, or Battle for Azeroth or Shadowlands. So new leveling experience that opens up more lore and more history, but right where we're at now is current events. And like I mentioned, we'll talk about what those current events are more when we start watching the cinematics that are related to the Harbinger. We'll be introduced to Xalatath. We'll be introduced to the new zone, Khaz-Algar, and the Earthen, and the folks that are on here. And we'll start going through that as we continue to level up. Now, if you purchased a boost where you bought the expansion and you boosted a character to level 70, which our expansion came with a level 70 boost because we purchased it today. So to use that, you just log into your character screen in the top right. You have to create the character first, I believe. So you click level 70 boost, you create a character, you go through the process, and it'll start you at level 70. It'll start you in your faction's major city, and you will begin with the Harbinger quest. So if you purchased a boost or purchased the expansion and have a boost, you're going to want to start this video series at episode 6, because that is where we're going to pick up. We're going to level from 70 to 80. We're going to start gearing our character in season 2 of the War Within. We're going to get the ahead of the curve achievement through pickup groups, and we are going to get try to reach 3,000 Mythic Plus dungeon rating. So those are our next goals. Thanks for watching. I mentioned it at the top of the video. If you like this series, like and subscribe. If I get enough subscribers, I will go and buy a better microphone. And if I ever get laid off from work, I will move from this PNG tuber over to actual camera. So keep up the support. Appreciate what I've seen so far. Thank you to all the people that did subscribe, and we'll start the real end game soon.